Now, when ours went,
should I just do the classic?
Yeah, you might as well. The white change now. When our old one got so bad that my father-in-law actually took out the element, we had to break the element to get it out, and then we went in there. We took the basket off of a ski pole, and we were just breaking calcium chunks out and taking it out. I'm not kidding. Probably at least 18 inches deep of calcium in our hot water. That was just, they were heating the calcium, and that was it. Uh-oh.
What is that?
That was not a good thing. That was St. Bernardus.
St. Bernardus is a magnum.
Where do I get
We're
that?
gonna do a toast.
Yeah.
Whenever we get to a certain point, we can toast.
Yeah. I got one right in the first page. We can do multiple ones throughout.
Okay.
We can do multiple ones throughout. Jackson, we good?
Yeah.
I want you guys to know that I did actually have. I went online and we live in an amazing time. Number one, I have a Roomba. Number two,
I hate my Roomba.
I love it,
They're
man.
so dumb. They just bounce around.
The robot that cleans your floors is dumb.
I need a smarter floor cleaning robot.
Did you map it?
I got the dumb one.
Oh,
it doesn't do that.
Mine, that's amazing. But anyway, that's the second most, and I already forgot what it was. Oh, yeah. I went online today, and I actually typed in an intro for the show and put it through AI, and it gave me back a British woman's voice reading the intro. But it didn't download to this computer, and I'm really pissed off.
So we're almost there.
Welcome to the Rim Break Bar. The beers are full. It's just like and it's completely without emotion though. It's like really boring.
But it's
people.
AI.
It is.
It's boring.
Yeah, we live in that world now. It's unbelievable. I bet if I paid a little bit for it, it'd get a little bit more excited. Kind of like.
Yeah.
Never mind. Before we begin, it's that time. That's right. Sponsor mentions everybody. Huel stands for human. You know what? Nah, never mind. I'm going to do it. So Huel stands for human fuel. From shakes to instant meals, proper new protein bars, Huel can take care of your day-to-day nutrition. They want me to talk about the Black Edition, which is actually quite excellent, but I have to say that the instant meals, such as mac and cheese, spicy Mexican chili, are truly a great workday lunch option. If you boil water, you can have a proper, healthy lunch. Click the link at Packfiller. They need to know that we sent you. Next off, Gooder sunglasses, people. Fit, style, polarized lenses, and so affordable, you can buy several pair to go with your mood on and off the bike. Get to Packfiller. Click on the link. Give Packfiller 15 a shot in the discount code. I think it's still good. Affordable style might just be a little bit more affordable. And finally, Scratch Labs, you guys. True source for on-the-bike fueling and hydration. Now that you're shifting to inside, you sweat a lot. I don't know if you knew that. Keep everything in check with a bottle of Scratch Hydration, and you won't be wondering why those headaches won't go away. Not speaking from experience. Use our link at Packfiller. So, let's do this. I still don't have a new theme, and the guy who wrote this said he was going to give me a new theme. I'm not complaining. I'm just curious. Is that a complaint?
Yeah.
It's pretty whiny. It's pretty passive-aggressive. My wife tells me I'm really good at that.
You are. It's a gift. Oh.
Thanks, Sam.
It's well delivered, too, wasn't it? Thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, not counting the one-offs and shows not meant to share, I've recorded 400 shows should anyone seem to care. The Packfiller started back in the year of 1999. 400 more shows. Sounds all good and fine. That's right, it's Tuesday. We're in the Rim Break Bar, and it's time for our 400th episode of the Packfiller Cycling Podcast. And I'm going to say it, and I believe it full and wholeheartedly, the longest-running cycling podcast out there. I'm Pat Bulger, and let's toast to 400. Paul brought us St. Bernardus. Jackson, you going to do it?
Yeah. The whole thing, all at once. Hup.
Don't do that.
I heard this is what we're doing for the beer mile.
Oh, Jesus, could you imagine?
I would do so many beer miles.
48 ounces of this, but slamming it?
Yeah, that's true. That would be horrible.
God damn,
That's
that bottle is
so
huge.
Not meant for chugging.
Can you get it in the camera?
It's in every single angle except for the one you're in.
As it should be.
Which is perfect, keeping it good. I should mention that I started the show before Packfiller called Spoke Radio. And That was where the initial episodes came from. Many of those episodes are lost on various hard drives. I was saying this to Paul before we started, on dead computers, and so the actual numbers actually probably much larger. That's what he said. So let's get to the celebration with tonight's prologue question, gentlemen. What is something you did when you were younger that you cringe to think about? And by the way, Jackson got the most praise for his courage on the poopy story. And I got praise for being a shitty dad.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
isn't it just a lose-lose for you? I love that.
Yeah, 99% of the time.
Yeah, like you say a story that is like, self-damning, and they're like, oh, Pat, you're disgusting.
What an idiot. And then my son tells me a story, and I'm like going,
of him
I
shitting
made
his
you
pants.
put poopy pants in your pocket?
Yeah.
So something you did when you were younger that makes you cringe to think about. It could be a fashion choice. It could be anything like that. And you could go from there. So number one, he doesn't have to buy clothes because his wife makes the coolest shit out there, Mr. Paul Main.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife made a cool sweater. Yeah, from
awesome.
knitted it from a pattern from 1962. So that would make it 61 years old.
Yeah.
So older than me.
Yeah.
That pattern.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Not the one he's wearing. Not the
No.
one he's wearing.
No.
Not the one he's wearing.
Did she make that, though?
no.
Okay.
She didn't make this one. I would be afraid to wear her sweaters where I could spill beer.
Uh,
Yeah.
Smart guy.
yeah.
Yeah, smart guy. Paul, what is something you did when you were younger that makes you cringe to think about?
I'll keep it cycling related. I used to take any challenge on bikes when I was a little kid. My little brother going off of jumps, he would. We had a pile of scrap iron. He would just stack up, and there'd be jagged pieces, and
Like a scene from Mad Max.
yeah, all kinds of things like that. And I would ride as fast as I can into our garage with the garage door open, and you go from sun to dark, and I would lock my back brake, coaster brake, and slide right into the wall. And then one day, my little brother, thought it was pretty funny to put a quart of oil down. Oh, shit. And I smashed right through the wall, and I was pretty pissed. But I don't do that. I don't do that on bikes anymore. I just go through the city pretty crazy.
They're called Strava challenges.
Yeah, now
They're called Strava challenges. Next, he is happily married to a spouse who wants to watch him puke, Mr. Sam Waples.
Isn't she the best? I mean, it's not even a question. She's just been asking, so when are we going over to do the beer mile?
Mm-hmm.
You're going?
Oh, we're going to get in depth about that. We got to solidify a lot of facts, and I got to see how much we're going to offer up to the listeners out there. But anyway, Sam, what's something you did when you were younger? You're embarrassed
honestly,
by?
I have a lot of things, but I think the thing that I'm I regret and cringe about the most is how much Halo I played.
Really?
And Mountain Dew you drank while you did it?
Yes, and Hostess cupcakes that I ate.
Yeah, you were weird.
I was disgusting.
Yeah.
You're
Really?
preserved
I would
for
stay
life.
up until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
screaming at the television.
Really?
Yeah,
You had the whole headset
Did he
on.
go
Go
to
left, go
DKA?
left, go left. All that
God,
kind
I
of
was,
shit.
I was
Really?
so deep in it. I had 6 months
the
of
cringe-
Halo 3 logged.
Yeah.
If you were to play for 24/7.
Weren't you saying you were nationally ranked or something
Yeah.
like that? Yeah, that's really pitiful.
Not more than that, but yeah, let's not go into that.
And to get there, you had to just yell at little kids
Mm-hmm.
and call them
Your
unmentionable
mama
things.
never loved you.
Yeah.
That's where he gets it.
Yeah.
From Halo.
Jesus.
Probably.
So you're just on your bike playing Halo. It is a first-person shooter activity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also a lot of my rage comes from my brother.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it.
Just having to coexist in a room together.
Next, he's the cyclocross king of the Packfiller, which might not actually be saying much. Mr. David Waples. Did you race this week?
I did.
Did you win?
No, it
So-
did not go well.
I would really like to poke fun at this guy because, if you guys had a winning recipe, you've done it, you've won 2 races.
I understand now.
What are you gonna do?
This coming from
you
the
gonna
guy who
change-
attacks off the gun
Yeah.
just because he's bored.
True.
Yeah.
And
I
that
broke
tactic-
a cardinal rule.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
He did.
I put a new seat post on that moved my position 30 millimeters forward on the day of the race. And
Jesus.
I made adjustments not only to the bike, but also to my fit. And I crashed 3 times. I could not keep my front wheel under me. I
Because
messed
his
up
brother
from it.
who does fits.
Yeah.
Right here.
The irony. You guys hate each other so much you won't seek each other out for advice.
Absolutely not.
No, and when he asked me, he's like, I need a stem by next, or a seat post by next week. I'm like, oh yeah, I can get that. It was almost like I was setting him up for failure.
I went back to the old seat post.
Good man.
Well, I take back your intro then. What's an embarrassing thing that you did when you were younger, other than obviously not listening to your brother and change your fit?
I was thinking about those American cheese, white bread, and mayo sandwiches.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. They just make me cringe now. I'm like, oh god.
You had a lot of those.
I can't. Oh yeah, that was my go-to.
Really?
Yeah, American cheese and mayo on white, like Wonder Bread.
Yeah. So you could ball it up.
Yeah. Well, no, it just would get stuck to the top of your mouth.
Oh, that sound. Next, he's the reason this podcast started, and I'm not shitting you, Mr. Jackson Bulger.
Well, what can I say? You can all thank me for being here. If I wasn't alive, none of this would have happened. I am the reason. The embarrassing thing that I did when I was younger, which wasn't really that long ago.
Oh, jeez.
There's a bit of truth there.
Yeah. I used to do the hang loose thing a lot when I was younger, and I hate that now.
That's
grosses me
your
out a little
embarrassing thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Embarrassing, yeah.
Well,
That's
I mean,
super
I also was
embarrassing.
like in theater, so like that's like a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You can't look at me and try and fight it because it's true.
No, there are cool people in theater.
Okay.
Name
Name one.
Okay.
Me.
In theater, throwing hang loose around.
Yeah.
See, it's like two of them back to back. It's like,
So you were doing the hang loose thing, and while you were in the theater program?
yeah. I mean,
Oh.
I spent like a good majority of my professional collegiate career.
Professional collegiate?
Yeah.
Doing hang loose?
No,
Really?
no. I was saying focusing on theater.
Tell
Oh.
me you were doing hang
But-
loose in college.
No, I was not doing.
Oh,
because
see,
at that
that's what
point,
I was hoping,
Yeah.
that you
No.
were doing the both
I
at
was-
the
it
same
was in
time.
high school. It was
And
in
I'd
high
have
school.
actually been thankful for COVID.
I was also doing theater in high school as well, though. So it's
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Me, I'm the guy who convinced his wife that podcasting would make money.
Oh,
I'm Pat
How's that
Bulger.
going, Pat?
Yeah, shut up. And the thing that makes me cringe from my younger years would definitely, I went through a window in which I wore those patterned weightlifter pants, the kind of baggy ones.
MC Hammer pants.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
paired
that's-
them with Nike Aqua socks
Wow.
that were like
Seriously,
they
I
were like
got-
fabric socks with a rubber sole on the bottom, and
Yeah.
mine were neon yellow.
wow.
That's the
Yeah.
worst thing.
This was college.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you were on the rowing team. You weren't really cycling that much.
No,
so
yeah,
that's an
and but,
excuse.
I mean, I was in a band, and I remember seeing pictures of me on stage with those pants on.
Wow.
Not with the Aqua socks. I think because I wanted to be cool, I probably paired them with fucking Chuck Taylors or something like that.
my God.
Oh, it's just not
Lucky,
good.
lucky you were behind a drum set.
No,
Probably
I
not
was
too many
lead
people-
singer for a while too. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, right out in front. Daffy Duck T-shirt, horrible weightlifter pants. Yeah,
Daffy
Yeah.
Duck.
I'm not willing to. I'm willing to share. I share, unlike some people.
there's a curtain. You don't need to pull it back.
Yeah, well, you guys, this is the time of the show when we confess how much training we are or we are not doing. I was going to ask David if he raced, and I now found out that he raced
Horribly.
horribly. Completely did not
Very-
represent. Am I the only one on an indoor setup consistently already?
I did it today.
You did today.
I set it up today because of our
Yeah,
thing that
this
we're
week.
happening
I
this week.
signed up for that today.
You did.
And I bought a direct drive trainer today. But I
You
did
didn't
not
have one?
ride today. No, I've always used the wheel.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna buy a direct drive. I am still outside. I rode last night at
David, it's
7.
Tuesday.
I'm gonna buy one. I've
Okay.
got time.
All
I
right.
rode last night at
He's
7
gonna-
into the dark. So
This is going to be the most wonderful shit show
Yeah,
of
it is.
all
It's
time.
gonna be
It is.
Of
nasty.
all time. Is anybody in proper training block, or are we all just kind of floating late
Yep.
mid-season? Jackson?
I mean, I am. Last week was like our easy week, and then just back into it now. So yeah.
Yeah. We do have to mention that Paul brought this Magnum of St. Bernardus, and he even brought the glasses, the proper glassware that you will see if you're watching our YouTube
Are you my best friend?
our YouTube feed. and it's 10%. So as the show progresses, if it's not your device you're listening
Sam
to,
gets
we are
sloppy.
slurring our words. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful bottle. I also am in a training block.
Love it.
I am still doing the habit thing, trying to train my body to get up an hour earlier every day, and I've been doing it regardless of if I'm working out or not. And I'm in a just generic system 1, and so it's weights plus riding plus yoga. I haven't done any yoga yet.
It's in there, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, my wife's gonna walk into the workout room on the yoga days and go, "Why is it stinking here?" Well, I squeezed out some farts. But isn't that what yoga does?
No.
You're like going, "I'm bending this way." Oh no! That's why I don't do yoga.
When you
in
get into
public.
twists, that might
Yeah.
happen. You start
Yeah.
doing some twists.
Hot yoga would be even worse. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like farts and heat.
Or some like child's pose.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
deep
even know.
squeeze.
Yeah. And so I'm not doing a lot, but I'm getting into it, and I'm I'm doing okay. It's all right. Like today I did strength training, and the strength training workout's 20 minutes long. Is it? It's just boom, 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 boom. But it's not bad. So and then I get up and I have a little bit of time to clean up after the new dog my wife rescued this
I think
weekend.
you said this, but is that all on system?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is. You can just pick a start date and let her rock.
Awesome.
We do have an event on the calendar this weekend. This Saturday is the, should I say first or should I say only official
We'll find out. at the
Packfiller
end.
Beer
Yeah,
Miles?
I'll do it at 800.
Beer Miles
do it
at
at 800,
800. Okay. It
I'll
is-
be dead.
Yeah.
It is. It's only 400 weeks from now, Paul.
Yeah.
It is. Did I spit on my mic? I did.
Wow,
There we
you're
go.
excited.
Big
Yeah.
foamy. We've been working out the specifics. But we do need to solidify a few more here, and that's for the listeners to follow along. And I want to talk to you guys about listener follow along nature. Are we all agreed on using the same beverage first and foremost?
Yes.
Yeah, Coors Light.
But
I
no,
like
I'm
that.
scared.
I like that.
Well, I was
that.
wondering
I
if
like
Jackson
Coors
would like to be able to
Light.
use Coors Light. If he
So,
wants to.
Paul, I don't know if you really understand, but it's just water.
I know it is.
So that would make it way better.
But it's fizzy water with booze in it.
And you can
hardly
shotgun
any
it.
booze.
Yeah, and you can.
I would
Empty
shotgun
it.
cans of those,
Yeah.
which I hate doing.
So
Can't shotgun.
what if?
We're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Well, I feel like that doesn't matter, but I think that. Do they all have to be the same alcohol percentage?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know, and that's what
Oh,
we have to figure
easy.
out.
Well, somebody's
wait,
going to be
wait,
at
what
a
do you mean?
disadvantage if they're higher. Because I don't know if
Is anybody really in this to win?
You guys, I just want to point out a fact. 2 weekends ago, we went out and did a ride, and
Yeah.
we had two 20-ounce beers. Add
Yeah.
up the math. If you want to do 16-ounce pours,
No, we're doing 12s.
oh, thank God.
We're going to do 12-ounce pours. That's what.
It's still more.
I actually went online and I.
you're such a lightweight.
Okay, I need to just interject something about physiology for you guys because you're talking about all this. Like, it even matters during how long is 4 miles going to take us?
Probably
Like
nothing.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
You could chug 4 of whatever you want, and you'll only be a little bit drunk. What we're dealing with is volume and fizziness, and like vomiting from the fullness in your stomach, not
Yeah.
from the alcohol content. So like,
yeah, but then
we're only
you're gonna
screwing
be
ourselves down the
Okay,
road.
Dr. Dave, then you're going to be slammed by how much alcohol after 15 minutes.
But it's
That's
not gonna
my thing
affect
is
the
I'm gonna go,
race.
But it's over.
I have a question.
Yes.
What if, because I'm not outing you guys by saying this, but I feel like because I might be the lightest weight drinker here, what if,
I've been drinking NAs.
great, what if, what if I was the one to handle the beverage?
Now you're back to not doing it.
No,
Last
I am
week you were
doing it.
Oh,
I am
okay.
doing it.
Oh, but you get to
Oh,
pick.
like you get to
Yes,
choose?
I get to choose the surprise beverage
Let's
that we
do it.
all. It will be a
Now,
beer.
It's
I
There's
think
no
we can
way it's
option.
not
I think we
Coors.
can open it up.
Let's have
I
a
think we can
surprise.
open it up. For example, I want to do the pills,
I
the
agree.
on tap pills,
I agree.
and Paul and I want to do the on tap pills.
And I think it's fair. I will give Jackson, because he's not a beer drinker, if he wants to do
Coors Light.
Light.
Yeah.
Love it.
Because, again, it goes back to what the doctor
Are you going to
says.
pee again?
No, I was gonna see what the ABV is on the pills.
Oh, it's the cap there?
Wait a minute. You're the one that said it doesn't matter. It
I
doesn't.
know. That's why I don't want to be super
Wrong?
drunk in
Oh,
an
yeah.
hour afterwards.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
We're having
You're
dinner
gonna be-
shortly thereafter. You can refuel.
fair enough.
Oh my god, I'm gonna eat so much food and drink so much water before this event. Just try to absorb it. I'm gonna load my stomach.
Did you
with
get to
bread.
finish? Did Jackson get to finish his
Yeah,
thought?
he was
That's
gonna
what
pick
she
it.
said. I think that what I'm gonna pick.
That's what he said.
I'm gonna pick mine, and then I'll just let you guys know, and the viewer will get to see when the video arrives.
Can I do
All
what
right,
he does?
I'll drink anything.
I'm doing the pills. I'm doing the on-tap pills because on-tap beer,
I'm fine.
a little smoother
Cool.
on the carbonation. That's my strategy.
As long as it's not cider.
It's not gonna be.
I can't drink cider.
You're gonna pick what
He
Jackson
said, he
picked?
said was you're not listening. He
You
said
want what
it's
I have?
going to be beer.
Oh, right. It's going to be beer.
So you're picking period for all of us?
No, you two already did pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
It's not gonna be that bad.
Well, I know. I just don't know how much I want Coors Light.
Still reserve. Still reserve, Sam.
Well-
you deserved it.
I do
Got
deserve
a couple
that.
days.
Yeah. So we're going 12 ounce pours.
Okay.
I believe we should stick to 12 ounce pours. This is, by the way, I found there is a legit website out there that covers all of this stuff. And it is, where did I put it? Beermile.org or something like that. I can't find it. But anyway.
Isn't it mainly runners that
Yeah,
do this?
it is
Yeah.
a runner's thing.
And the reason why I bring that up,
Because they're not going 30 miles an hour and they're on the road and they crash into a ditch.
we're on trainers, so
Yeah,
it's
well,
all
that's
good.
that was my caveat.
Yeah.
We can do it that
So
way.
I did an inspection, and I walk in this guy's house, and you think you had bikes?
yeah.
He has over 75, maybe 80 bikes. He is a crazy about bikes. This guy named Joel. And I told him about the podcast and stuff, and I said, there's,
Yeah.
that you think you have tons of bikes.
Attractive
See?
man?
Does he need a
Sure,
friend?
if he's listening, Joel, you're a handsome guy. But I told him about the beer mile, and I didn't realize. I'm pretty sure that's where he got the ideas from. He goes, "I did it on the track,
Yeah.
running stuff."
Yeah, that's
So-
the original.
Yeah,
thought.
that's the original.
Yeah, okay.
You run one.
And I
lap
thought it
you
was
get
a
the
novel idea.
Oh, you didn't know about this?
Yeah,
no,
well,
not at all.
you just went.
For Jesus
Down.
Christ, you thought I would just no.
You
I
thought
come up
he's
with
an
some good
original?
ideas.
I just
Yeah.
I made the cycling version of it where instead of 1 lap, we're doing 1 mile.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So it's that's why I'm calling it the beer miles.
Yeah.
excellent.
Wow. We have agreed on that we're doing it on the RGT format from Borrego Springs course.
Which is a real course.
It is.
And yeah,
Okay.
in San Diego.
And I have set it up. It is pretty damn flat. I've set it up as an event on RGT, and I've put it out there. We're assuming it is beer mile. Beer is first.
Okay.
Okay. As the bike coasts, should we agree that when you get back to your bike, whatever the number says, you do a mile in addition to that? Or if your bike coasts a tenth of a mile while you're drinking a beer, do you just go to the next 0-0?
No, I think wherever you get back on,
Yeah,
wherever it's
that's
at a mile.
It's 1 mile.
And I think we can trust each other, except these two can't trust each other. But
Can't trust
we
Red Bulls.
figure.
Yeah.
No, because at the end of this is how it's going to go. I need to have ridden more miles and consumed more beer than him. It doesn't matter.
It's not
it
more
could be this is what I'm saying.
You're just like my bike coasted farther.
Yeah, David and I might be on the bike
Shithead.
for the rest of the night.
Okay.
I mean, it would coast further with the inertia and everything
Yeah.
I'm
from
gonna
all the
end your
extra
life.
mass.
Well, it's on a
Yeah.
trainer,
I'm
dipshit.
gonna bury him.
I know. But
He's making
It's a
fat
fat joke.
jokes.
it's a fat joke.
Okay, I take those personally because I'm the heaviest in the room, probably. Okay, so we're going to agree that if the bike coasts to 0.07, we go to 0.07 for the next mile.
Wherever you hop on your bike, even if it's still coasting,
Yeah,
because some of us might be able to drink really fast
Really
and it
fast.
hasn't slowed down.
yeah.
But wherever you hop onto that saddle,
Okay,
you have to add that mile.
okay.
So I had to convert my.
Oh, you're taking off your sweatshirt. I was like, where's Sam going?
This is going to be a crazy event to see who can really handle the fluid the best.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's the
tiny
whole point
tank.
for me.
I mean, if I have to pee, it's over. But
Yeah. Next question. Do we all have a proper setup? Which means a trainer, which means a stand to put your device on. Do I need to bring home music
I need
stands?
a stand. I need a
I'll get
stand.
some music stands. I'll steal some from my employment and bring them back.
Better. I don't really want to bring, because I have like
You want a
one of those
music stand
medical
or
ones,
something like
yeah.
that. You have one.
I'm fine. Yeah.
What do
I
you
got
put
all-
on the stand?
Your device to register to
Your
a
iPad.
computer.
He's
an
behind
iPad,
a
a
eight
laptop.
ball. He has no idea what's
My
going on.
God, you've been living in a cave.
I have. It's called the L3 Physician Lounge.
Yeah, that's right.
Hence the beer.
There's no windows.
He just sleeps.
So if since we're doing it on system RGT, you're going to have to sign up for a free trial for system.
Okay.
Okay, and that will you'll be able to log on to that. So do you need a device?
I have a computer.
Do you have an iPad?
I have a computer.
I will provide you with an iPad, probably the one Jackson's using right now. Do you have an iPad, Sam? Paul, you have an iPad?
Yes.
Jackson has one. I have one. Okay. So we need an iPad to run off of it. And I will get stands. And you got to get an account, and we got to go there. So the next thing is we've agreed from the last show that this will not be live streamed.
Yes.
But
For our benefit.
the RGT event,
You're projectile vomiting. I'm predicting it now.
the RGT
you'll
event
see.
can be shared. I can release the event so people can either watch us digitally or even play along if they want.
Yeah, I think that's a splendid idea.
So I will make that public.
And
Okay.
if anybody wants to send in their videos, we need to have a prize for
Yeah,
that.
exactly. I do want to throw out a disclaimer. This is absolutely stupid thing to do. Nobody should do it. Consumption of alcohol is dumb, and nobody should even think about ever touching this stuff.
Especially if you're pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do not drive.
No,
Don't drive.
no.
Yeah,
Never.
don't do it. Don't do it while you're moving, you dipshit.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't ride your bike either.
Yeah,
It's on a trainer.
That's why we're doing
Yes.
it on the trainer. Yeah. Okay. Rules are: we all start at the same time. Beers must be completely finished. What happens if there's spillage?
Yeah.
You got to lap it up off the ground. If you're
Yeah.
not on all fours,
I don't.
Or
Yep.
you can drink another beer, I think. How about that?
I think
That's your option. You either
No.
drink it off the ground or you
If
chug
he
a whole
shotguns
nother
a beer
beer.
and drops half of it,
that's all shotgunning is, though.
We should put a time penalty.
So-
If you spill the beer, you should have to wait for 20 seconds or something.
I've got a thing. No shotgun. No shotguns.
No,
it has
no,
to be
no,
in the
no.
glass.
Gotta,
It has
Yeah,
to be in
yeah.
the
Got to be
glass.
poured into a proper glass.
You have to drink like a human being.
I think, or solo cup if you want to do solo cups.
What?
Any
I'm gonna
type
go
of-
with your choice.
You're
Yeah,
going
I'm
to want
drink whatever you bring.
proper beer
Yeah.
glasses. But yeah. So proper receptacles. It has to be poured
Okay.
into that. Mm-hmm. Okay. First one finished wins, right?
Yep.
Beers are not going to be in cans. They can be in solo cups if you want to do that, if you're into that thing. I also think to ensure proper beer drinkage, glasses must be, and this is off of that website earlier, you can choose to pour it up, tip it upside down to show there's nothing left.
Put it on your head.
You can put it on your head.
That's what we need to do.
What do we feel about throwing it as far as you can?
There could be beer in it, and you're just, and my neighbors are going to get really mad.
No, like within the vicinity, like what is that?
So
a
are we
no?
drinking on the bike? Like
No.
you just like sit.
You got to
oh,
get
gotta
off the bike. We're going to set a table at a distance where we all have to run to
God, this
In
is
our
gonna
clicky
get-
clack shoes.
in our cookie class.
Yes, and I think we'll have to figure out some sort of like non-slipping thing.
Oh no!
Nah,
I think
that'll
we
make
should
some more
hose it down.
entertaining. Yeah, put some oil.
Put
on it.
put a quart of
Quarter
oil.
oil on there.
Well, the vomit rule from the beermile.org, by the way, is you can still continue, but there is a time penalty applied after your fourth beer, which means you have to do another mile.
Kind of like
Yeah,
that's kind of like in biathlon. It's kind of
Yeah.
biathlon.
So you
if you
spew.
miss the target, you have to do an extra.
You spew, you got to do another mile. So it's a 5 miler if you spew.
Deal.
yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
I really don't want to spew.
I've got a special plan.
You're just gonna spew right out of the gate.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm gonna do.
gonna stick his finger down his throat and go, ah, fuck you.
Yeah, and then he's gonna get in time trial mode.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, now we're going to talk about some of the small, minute details. If there are technical issues, we're dealing with online servers that can crash, about Wi-Fi issues. We're talking about doing this all at once, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of data, isn't it?
Well, no, I'm not saying that's impossible.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's impossible. On Saturday, I will move a Wi-Fi modem outside. Do we want to do it outside? Do we want to do it inside?
Outside.
I don't know if I necessarily want puking in my house. My carport is not a pretty place. But it's not going to be very photogenic.
Well, I already have
What about the
ideas for
backyard?
that as well.
You do? Okay,
Yes,
okay,
so
okay.
we'll
You're going to bring your marriage arch, and we're going to put the flowers back up.
Yep.
And all 4 of us will be underneath that.
Yeah. No.
David was
Hi,
invited.
David. Yeah.
He doesn't exist.
It was out of a technicality, if
It
I'm being
was.
honest. It wasn't because I don't like you.
It's because
I'm
he
just
asked
telling you that now.
because he asked me first
It's
before
because
you, and before he
it's-
got to know you.
It's
There we
because I don't like you.
Exactly.
And
There's
so
the
he was
technicality.
like, yeah,
right
there's the
there, yep.
technicality.
Sam said if David's in the party,
I'm out.
the whole wedding's
And
actually
I'm going to
ruined.
destroy everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were saying.
Right now, it is scheduled to launch on RGT at 4 o'clock Pacific on Saturday. Is that an agreeable time, or should we go before or later, or what do you guys want to do? Sam mentioned the other night, he's like, if we're going to have dinner afterwards, I want to just
Yeah,
Power
four's a
through.
great time because then you got a solid buzz going. You probably don't need any more alcohol until maybe later.
child.
You're a hero or an alcoholic. I don't know. It goes either way.
A little bit of both.
Yep, a little bit of that. I think that 4 is a good time because then we can hop off a bike, have some dinner.
Or shower, too. Maybe clean
Shower.
up, wipe
Yeah.
the puke off.
Yeah, we should honestly just get hosed down.
Yeah. Okay.
It just sucks
David?
when you only have one day off.
Oh,
That does
Drunk.
suck.
Is Saturday your day off?
It's gonna be.
No.
I asked somebody, the co-resident said he would give me whichever day I needed. So
I shall be wearing the kit of shame because I lost the Tour de France. Hanging up in the corner.
Let's not
Fine,
get
Paul
you
said.
wet. We don't need to get you wet with the kid of shame.
Well, the
I'll
shorts
bring
are
the
see-through,
super
but not the jersey.
I know, but
Yeah.
That's long enough.
God,
That's,
that's
long
the
enough.
best part.
Yeah.
Jersey's long enough for you.
But
Yeah.
see,
It
gravity
is.
effects. If you get the jersey wet, it's gonna
seep.
Yeah.
Seep.
I'm doing it.
I'm bringing the super
I'm
soaker.
doing it. I'm
Super
bringing the
soaker.
super soaker.
Super soaker full of cat piss.
I will go slow. I will go so flash dance on your asses. I will just. I'm the only one. Paul and I are the only one to get that reference.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I will. All right, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna launch the RGT link so people will know where to find it. There we go. It is official. It is happening this Saturday, and Jackson's gonna chop it all up and make it into a video. Are we all going in a line, or do we want to go in a circle? I mean, these are things to think about too.
Circle puke.
Circle would be
Yeah,
hard
we should all
that's
just like be
for
like,
filming.
Wait, how
Circle would be
filming?
hard for
Oh no, I
filming.
was gonna say, I don't. Both are fun.
Our studio cameras, I can run out there and just record them all.
I
at once.
think maybe I'll talk to you about it.
Okay.
But
You know
it'll
one of
be
those
it'll look
360
beautiful.
cameras.
60.
360.
Oh, I have one.
Yeah, but
it
everybody
goes
looks
on your
kind of
bike.
weird with 360, like you're wearing those POC TT helmets. You know.
Yeah.
They are not good. All right, it's going to happen. There we go. Have we all decided?
Yeah.
It could
No,
be
it's
a
go weird.
horrible train wreck. You guys know it's probably going to be. It's just going to fail miserably, and everybody's going to puke. But
Yeah.
after 12.
I probably feel better the next day. While I'm at
when
work.
you're at work.
While I'm at work.
It's 48 ounces of beer.
That's
This
a
is
torpedo,
gonna
dude.
hurt.
I used
Yeah.
to do those in college all the
48
time.
ounces, and we had 40
40
ounces.
years
We
ago.
had 40 ounces 2 weeks ago after the ride, and that was. I went home and slept.
Mm-hmm. Same. Fatty nap. That's why we start at 4. We need coffee ready at the
That's
end
funny.
of
I
this.
went home and worked around the house.
And then you went back out that night, didn't
Yeah.
you?
God, you're a hero. You're the man that we need.
Let's check some headlines from
Not
the world
the
of
one we
cycling,
deserve.
courtesy of our friends at Giro, the OGs of modern helmet design and creators of some of the most beautiful shoes to grace your feet since Cinderfucking-rella.
Wow.
Get to Giro.com and tell them where we sent you. The Giro shoes are gorgeous. We've all seen
yeah.
the Giro shoes. Okay, imagine this happening in any other sport, gentlemen. Jumbo-Visma and Soudal Quick-Step are currently in discussions, rumored, about forming a potential merger of the two World Tour teams as soon as 2024, according to an exclusive report in... Everybody heard Paul's sweater going across.
And then he mumbled, East.
Got the yeast.
So this report talks about the fact that these two teams could potentially merge, with Soudal Quick-Step Lefebvre becoming a member of the team supervisory board. So how's that one for a
Won't happen.
Merger of one team taking over could see Remco Evenepoel, Primoz Roglic, Wout van Aert, and Jonas Vingegaard become teammates, creating a new super team in the World Tour. However, any deal would be complex, with a number of riders and staff let go at the end of one of the team's management company, and so World Tour license would be sold to somebody else, right? So thoughts on this actually being legit? Is anybody just like going, oh, hell no, this is Patrick Lefebvre trying to stir up shit to get another sponsor? Sam's shaking his head.
There's no way. If you think about it, like, those are two heavy-hitting teams, right? Like, those are two super teams. Yeah, exactly. I would say that Soudal Quick-Step, Jumbo-Visma, and Ineos are on a different tier, right? Like, those are the top three, I would say, with the biggest budgets. If you combine two of them, you can only have a 20-person roster. Yeah. So 20 of those riders are going to be cut free. You now then have, like, all of the other support staff.
Christophe Laporte just won the European Road Championships.
Yeah.
And, I mean, where does he fit?
And Remco hates Jumbo. He hates Primoz. Those two would never get along. So it's like, there's no way. There's no way.
Well, who thinks Primoz is going to be in yellow and black next year?
Yeah, that's a very good point. But still, like, bringing on Remco would be competition for Jonas.
Yeah.
I think... I think there might be one of the... I would say Soudal is the one that's interested in making the switch, not so much combining the teams. I know
just
that
the sponsor.
Lefebvre, yeah, that's just my guess. I have no backing on that, but it doesn't make sense that combining those two teams, the roster's too big. Mm-hmm. People have contracts beyond that point. What do? They got to cut them loose. To other teams, I mean, somebody like Primoz, they're saying, no, we don't want you on this team. Then Jumbo still has to pay. That team has to pay his contract for whatever team he lands on. Mm-hmm. And, there's other teams like, let this happen. So that's huge. That's going to be a huge mess. So I think it's a little more, it's not as straightforward as a merger. I think there's some things, if there is anything going on.
Well, it just sounds totally detrimental to the sport, in all honesty, because you've got two top World Tour teams and you've got one less. And then you've got all these riders that are going to go scattering like rats on the Titanic. I mean, this would almost solidify Remco going to someplace like Ineos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I think what would happen if this is, say, to happen, I think that Primoz is immediately gone. I don't think he would stick around for something like this where there are so many different leaders, especially now with someone like Sepp Kuss who can win a Grand Tour. I think he'll probably leave for like an Israel Premier Tech. Because realistically, Roglic isn't going to beat...
Or Lidl Trek.
I don't even think Lidl Trek at this point.
Who did they just pick up that's a GC guy?
They picked up Theo Gegenhardt a while ago.
That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you.
But I think that Roglic won't beat Vingegaard. He won't beat Pogacar anymore. Can he beat Sepp Kuss? I mean, yes. But I think that he's not sticking around. And then I think they'll go a season where they lose some of their best supporters. And then it comes down to a season where they aren't going to win any Grand Tours because they aren't willing to work together. Mm-hmm. So then it'll just fall apart. Money goes everywhere and nothing really worked out.
And the classics element of what Soudal Quick-Step is, I mean, Wout. Nobody's even talking about Wout in any of this. I mean, the guy...
Yeah.
Well, there's not much of a classic team of the way they performed this year. Mm-mm. I think that
Jumbo-Visma?
Lefebvre is on the... He's talked about retiring. Lefebvre is talked about retiring, so that they haven't done much. But even Jumbo-Visma had their goals and they reached them on the Grand Tours, but they kind of fell a little bit short on the classics. So even people like we used to talk about 5 years ago, Askren, all these up and coming people, Lampard, all those guys are kind of getting a little long in the tooth, and so those are the ones I think would be sweating over the deal more than anything else.
And speaking of which, Michael Morkov has been rumored
Switched.
to be leaving the team to go ride, and it's rumored that he's going to Astana to ride with Mark Cavendish, who's extending his year for another year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly have a question with Patrick Lefevere has said that he wants to sell the team because he wants to retire. That's what he has stated in previous, announcements, which fumble all the time. But what my question is who do you sell it to? Is there some Tinkoff guy that steps in and is I want
Somebody's going to want that World Tour license too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, who would be the team to pick that up?
Why would another team buy that? It doesn't make sense.
License.
It seems but it seems like there would be somebody else that's going to just step in and just take over Patrick's role. No.
I don't. I'm not that I would know of. It'd be pretty cool. I mean, it's it almost sounds like a Rupert Murdoch passing it off to his son,
right?
Kind of thing. Sorry, Patrick, but let's be honest. You kind of fit the bill. If the shoe fits, wear it.
The only way, mentioning that, I was just thinking there's one Belgian team that's not a World Tour right now because they got,
that's
relegated down.
That's what I was thinking too,
they could possibly move up.
I'd love to see them get it.
So then they could take over that license.
Yeah.
But that's all.
Wonder if they'd keep it though, with their performance last year. I mean,
I think
they did okay.
Yeah.
There's word that
they're more aggressive this year. You got to admit, though.
Yeah, because they had to be.
Yeah. And I hear that Caleb Ewing is possibly out.
He should
got
be.
Arnaud Delis coming in as their sprinter, and I think they're kind of, when you hit the bottom, you have one way up.
Yeah,
and
you got to fight for it. Yeah.
So that's a possibility.
There are another thing, by the way, speaking of cycling and potential growth and talking about this whole merger, there have been sightings of Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, actually visiting the Jumbo-Visma headquarters. Multiple photographs of him with riders and things along those lines. What could that potentially be in terms of a sponsorship deal? And what could we maybe... What would you imagine?
Next American team.
But what would you imagine seeing from Apple in terms of product promotion? I'm thinking my first thing's into my head. All right, a fitness option to rival something like Whoop.
Yeah.
A proper GPS style tracking program for your watch or your phone. Or an on-bike computer mount that would maybe, hold your watch or hold a brand new device. I mean, would Apple? Tim Cook, Tim Cook is a cyclist. He is a cycling.
I thought you
fan.
said he was Google.
No, he's from Apple.
Apple. Okay. Okay.
He took over from Steve.
Okay. Yep.
What would this mean? What could this bring?
So I have
fantasized.
I know exactly what's going to happen. I love the possibility of Apple getting into sports because I think it does open up a window of technological advancements in terms of that company. But they did this with Manchester United too.
Did they?
Yeah, they were. Everybody was saying,
you know how good they are this year.
Yeah. So everybody was like, Apple's going to be their main T-shirt or their main shirt sponsor. For months they were saying that, and it's still TeamViewer. And so I think that Tim Cook is probably going to see riders because he's Tim Cook of Apple. But I think he's probably just meeting the riders, and I think it'll mean a whole lot of talk and then a whole lot of nothing.
You're such a buzz.
Did you? When did you become such a negative?
I'm just thinking
realistically. You get that from your mother.
He's
I'm thinking
reasonable.
Well, I'm thinking realistically. What?
I love when we talk about pro cycling. David's just going, I'm gonna go potty.
Yeah. User-friendly bicycle option. I don't know.
Yeah,
the iBike.
Because I'm trying to think what
the iBike.
What do they need in this market? They already have the top fitness tracker in the world.
Do they though?
No,
Do you
Yes.
consider the Apple Watch the
Nope.
top fitness?
It is
tracker?
the
Most
highest
widely used.
Yeah, it is the highest selling smartwatch in the world,
Totally, but like,
which
that's
is also
small,
a fitness tracker.
I feel like that's a small market there. Like, it's not.
You would think.
Like, Wahoo has just gotten into it, a couple years ago, and
Yeah.
Garmin is.
But they're in the
Horrible.
block. I mean,
the
they're in
eye
the
trainer, the eye train.
I think it would be great. I think it'd be so cool to have all that Apple stuff in there, but
red.
I don't know if it's a big enough market
Yeah,
for them.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't think cycling is
Only so many old white
yeah,
guys.
there is not going to. It's not a in the scheme of the whole world. We're not a big market.
Do you think,
The only thing would be pushing a brand new product that may be an alternative, like a fitness.
their new
Yeah,
watch.
yeah,
is all I could
exactly.
see.
do you
The
think,
one that you tap twice and you can.
That is so stupid, but I love it.
Yeah.
do you think
What
if,
do you tap twice? Sorry, David. No,
if they-
David
they
has
do-
something to talk about.
Go,
Well,
David,
I'm
you're
here.
here.
I'm just saying, if they do enter into the world tour scene, don't you think that would do phenomenal things for U.S. cycling? If Apple,
Apple's a global company. I don't know if it's going to be
It's
a U.S.
US.
dominant.
but it's
base.
U.S. Everybody in the U.S.
Based
is
in US.
is
Yeah.
yeah,
US.
like Apple use
The-
everything is Apple here.
All races have to run off Cupertino
And-
time.
All the kids
and-
love
yeah,
all the kids love
Apple
all the
is a-
Apple products and like
All the kids do.
yeah. Well, that's what you need if you want to save cycling. You need kids. It's not us,
Yeah.
right? Like how are we getting kids involved? Anything Apple does, they love. So I'm just
Then
saying.
there'd be a rival Samsung team.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
we're
they
gonna
would
see
be-
hits.
they would be
David and
better.
Marcus and David and Marcus would ride for the Apple team.
Yeah, it would.
I would.
And Barry Muzzin would ride for the Samsung team. Paul's getting this reference, but he didn't hear
Yes,
it later.
I
until
did. I
later.
heard it, but he's the only one that does not have an Apple phone.
No, I don't.
I know.
Yeah,
You don't have
and we
an
get
Apple phone
dumb pictures.
Yeah,
It
they're all
takes
blurry.
forever to
Stupid
send you
green
guys any
bubbles.
type of photos. It's
I mean,
bullshit.
guys, okay.
I'm just
With
saying,
my
I think we do good
personality
things.
and how like egotistical I am, are you not surprised that I would choose a Sam song?
All in all, I'm just saying it's generous that you're my friend.
Oh man.
Because I saw the green bubble and
You
instantly
do
I was
put
like,
up with you put up with a lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
To the curb, bitch.
Yeah.
Let's talk the topic tonight, you guys. Brought to us by our friends at Athletic Brewing. Get the Oktoberfest. Trust me, I saw a guy online who actually bashed the Oktoberfest from Athletic Brewing.
What?
And it was on
TP his
it was
house.
well it was on a social media non-alcohol beer appreciation group, and somebody said it best.
What a niche group.
I follow
All
it. Shut
10
the
of them.
Yeah. And it was, but everybody was just like going, "Wow, who's desperate for attention?" Because he bashed it, and it's like going, everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Dude, it's freaking."
There's
Get off
trolls
this
on
planet.
non-alcohol.
I was gonna say
There are
really gonna
trolls for non-alcoholic beer,
You're gonna die on
and
that
they
hill.
probably are training for their
God.
first Ironman. I want to talk about this was Paul's idea, and it came really good, really well. And I thought, okay, it's a little selfish, but we're 400 years.
Feels like
We're
it.
at 400 episodes. I want to talk about the last 24 years.
So do I.
I started the show with a gateway computer in my kitchen dining room. No true ability to record other than through a program called Audacity, which is actually still around.
Really?
Still around, yeah. The first shows were awkward as I was soloed and scared as hell. The first interviews were just all over the place. But I landed a deal with the Saturn riders, and they were able to. A couple of the riders came on, and my big land back then was Steve Bauer. I had co-hosts. I had Frankie Andreo for a bit, and the one and only Mark Hodgson that needs to be mentioned on this.
Amen.
And I've had a chance to talk with my heroes, which I still get to today. But then I decided to focus on characters, and I wanted the show to be about the people who ride bikes. I wanted to laugh like I do on long rides with friends, and that's where you assholes came into the picture. I have made some mistakes. I've made a shit ton of them, and there will be more. But there will have been some great moments, usually at my self-deprecation expertise. So to celebrate 24 years and 400 episodes that remain published, there are more, and there were probably another 100 before that. But let's reflect. Let's talk about what's changed in good ways and bad over the last 24 years. Doesn't have to be about the show. It has to be about cycling. Let's start with technology. Everyone has a show now. Everyone has a fucking podcast now. And I am so mad about the fact why I didn't, back then, in 99, go, oh, just call it the Cycling Podcast.
You would have had it.
Yeah. It's like domains. It's like I could have said, internet.com, and I could have owned it, and I'd have been a billionaire.
Cycling.com.
Yeah, cycling.com. I didn't do any of that shit back then because I was a dumb asshole. And what are some of the online sources you guys find for cycling entertainment and information that you have followed over the years? For example, I'll give you one over the last 24 years. Now, you can start with the old shit. I was a fan of the Velocast with John Galloway, good, and he's a good guy, a friend of mine. And I like what Tyler Jackson, you turned me on. What's his last name?
Pierce.
Tyler Pierce, the vegan cyclist, does some really cool stuff.
He has a podcast.
Yep.
No. He's
Just
videos.
YouTube.
He's just videos.
Yeah.
YouTube.
He hasn't been cranking them out.
No, I think because he's doing major things. He's doing like feature-length films, and so it takes him forever. Does anybody have any that they follow or did follow that? And I want good and bad kind of a thing like that. What are some that you followed that were just garbage, or have changed over the years?
And it was like media for. Okay, so because before anything was magazines. I always did, the Vel News and all that. But then
Velo News, Velo News is still around in 24 years ago.
Yeah.
God, I miss him. Fuck you outside.
Yeah.
Although if you want to buy the podcast, call me.
We won't be on it.
Yeah, exactly.
None of us will. Yeah, none of us will.
But you can have Packfiller. We'll change our name.
Yeah. That's the thing I love.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that I started there, and then I went to Peloton magazine because they had really good stories, and then like somewhere in there too was GCN. This GCN was taking off, and they had really good content. That was like simple like bike wrenching stuff and all that. That
God, I hope they make it.
Yeah, I know.
Seems like things aren't going well for GCN.
But I think that the original creator, and I've forgotten his name, it is rumored at possibly stepping back in. Buy it.
Oh, okay, good.
So,
Good.
That's good. I have followed somebody for since I think my freshman year in college, which is now 6 years ago. So that's a good while.
Oh my God.
I know.
you're young.
Yeah. But
He doesn't have anything embarrassing about his childhood other than shitting his pants.
Yeah. But his name is Dustin Klein. He lives in Portland.
I remember you showing those. Yeah.
Yeah. He it's just him. He does a lot of gravel rides with his friends. He's a part of this group called OMTM, which is like, it's really helpful for like finding routes within that Oregon, like kind of Portlandy area. But he's just really entertaining. He's not like any other cycling YouTuber that you find. He's very much more like kind of quirky and artsy in a lot of ways. He used to be a former tattoo artist. So he's really artistic. It's something fun. He's kind of funny, and he's a little dorky here and there. But I like him. Decline is his what he goes by on social media. So
You know what I immediately thought of when you said OMTM? I thought of a gravel rider, and I thought of, ow, my taint, man.
Oh. It stands for
that's
Our
what it
Mother the Mountain.
Oh.
Well,
But that's
I think it
good
just
too.
stands for
That
ow,
would
my
work.
taint, man.
Yeah.
And it might
Because
be both.
Those
Might be
chatter
a
bumps,
duel.
man, hurt. Especially if you buy a new seat post the day of the race.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
David, do you even go online?
Yeah, we have this program called Epic. It's a medical database. I'm just kidding. But I use a lot of
Watching Sam's
hours
disgust.
on it. Yeah.
I spend more time than you want to know on it. I use a lot of the same ones Sam's used, and then like GCN in the last couple of years. Bicycle news, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. Like every time I seem to type in like recently best direct drive trainer, because I have no time to evaluate
Because they're
them
just
myself.
Wahoo! Just buy a Wahoo.
Well, that's probably what I'll do, but they, that one always pops up, and they make really nice reviews. They always give you like the best value versus the best, the best overall versus whatever, you know. So I like them, and over the years, we used to get the magazines, and I would just look through the bikes, just like dreaming about when I could get a good bike. Like they would always have the new bikes, and
they'd have that whole
and,
section that was like, "This is the new Pinarello." Oh, by the way, it's $12,000. Okay,
no,
cool. I'll drink.
It would not have been back then, right? It would have been.
I mean, back then they were super expensive still.
Yeah, they were $4,000.
Yeah,
it was still completely unattainable as I was 12, but you know.
Paul, did you ever follow Cyclismus? That
I did a little bit, yeah.
Because that was one of the founders of the whole kind of thing. And then he got into this huge debacle about they tried to raise money for Paul Kimmage to support his ongoing lawsuits from Lance, from Voldemort, sued him. And so he tried to they tried to create this huge fund. I donated to the Paul Kimmage fund.
Did you? Yeah.
And what it turned out was this dude who was in charge of the whole thing. Great article if you have the time. I can't remember the guy's name, and it was just published about a month or two ago, talking about this guy who was in charge of this whole website, who he took the money and ran.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
So, real briefly, for those that don't know, Paul Kimmage used to be a writer, and he got involved with drugs. This is in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book called A Rough Ride, and was about how prevalent. This is way before Lance.
Great book.
Like how bad drugs were in cycling.
Performance
and then he was
drugs.
And Belgian
cocaine.
pot, which is like cocaine and heroin.
Yeah.
He used to do that. And
that's Belgian pot.
You put it in a shaker and you shake it and you stir it over ice and you just sip it before you go to bed.
Really nice.
They are so much more hardcore.
Belgians
than
are
us.
hardcore.
They are way more hardcore than us.
But anyway, he was the one that was pushing Lance. He could see, because I think when you've been down in the belly of the beast, you kind of can see like, hey, wait a minute, this is not normal.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was public enemy number one for Lance for a long time.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? The other writer. He's Irish.
Oh, the Kofidis writer?
Writer.
Yeah.
Werner Hagedal?
Journalist. No.
No, I know what you're talking about.
White hair. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I did that. For me, if it was like all we had was magazines, and even in '99, when podcasts started coming around, there was Slow Ride Podcast, was about three guys that used to ride together.
I think
those
they're
guys.
still going.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They've been quite a few. I mean, been going around since I think 2000.
We all got to get together, all these podcasts. We all just got to realize that it's not a competition.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Then the cycling
Unless
podcast.
I'm rated higher than you.
The cycling podcast, which has got like, Daniel Freeb and Lionel Burney and Richard. God, I can't think of his last name, but he's the one that started it, and he died of a heart attack last year.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wrote. That's a good podcast. It was called the Cycling Podcast. Can you imagine if somebody would have grabbed that?
Dumb son of a.
Yeah, but and then speaking of GCN, I used to love the rawness of the early,
I've had
like 2012 stuff.
It was raw.
It was raw, but I loved it. And then it started getting better and better and better. Now I don't watch. I watch the cycling news, race news, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
Really?
the other stuff is just like, I don't care this versus that. I don't. They've done aero versus light.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times. Disc brakes versus rim
I would
brakes.
agree with that.
It's
What
just
is
like,
the guy that is the main person on there?
Daniel Lloyd.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that guy.
And it was just like, it was him sitting in front of a computer
Yeah.
and just talking about various different things going on. That was the peak of GCN.
My wonderful father, who's knocking on 80, just found GCN, and he is a Facebook junkie. I mean, honestly, if you took it away from him, he would explode. He posts so often, and my dad he tags Jackson and me in all of his Facebook posts. Like, have you guys seen these videos? It's this GCN website. I'm like, Dad, I've been doing a show for 24 years.
We've talked about GCN for 12
Actually,
of
I
them.
told him once, I asked him if you listen. He says, yeah, but you talk too much at the beginning of the shows. I just want you to get to the interview.
Well, at least there's more of us.
So I'd be like,
out there.
This is my daddy. So what other cycling tech that has changed over the years? I'm going to open it up, and I know Paul's going to be like, fucking disc brakes, I don't like But talk to me about cycling tech that has changed over the last 24 years that you like and or dislike.
STI
Things
shifters.
that have worked well. Was that
Going from down tube.
Did we go STI in the last 24 years?
No,
Yes.
Yeah.
no,
Yes.
No, it was
It
before.
was already
It was
done way
90s.
before.
In the
1990s. I
90s.
sold it.
90s.
I
It was
sold
90s.
8-speed. Shimano came out in 1990.
Yeah.
8-speed.
Side pole.
Yeah.
I think we just didn't have
No.
nice bikes
No.
when we were growing
It was
up.
eight
My
speed.
We
dad
had-
was holding out on
was.
us.
Yes, he was.
He made
He
me
was.
start on down tube.
Yeah, well, that's where you should have
Well,
been.
that's where you should.
It
Yeah,
better
that's-
been in friction.
And-
If it's indexed, he really did.
And
Lead your
the
He loved you,
rigid
yeah.
shoes that you would do in the...
What, you read it in fucking sneakers nowadays? Well, everybody's got rigid shoes.
No, they were the rigid flats that you would do with the straps with clipless.
Toe strap.
Yeah.
Toe clips and
and
straps.
toe clips and straps.
Sorry, toe clips.
Alfredo Binda strap.
Cages.
Oh my God, we're old.
Yeah, with
Paul.
cages. And it was like, what were they, Diodora shoes or something like that?
Something like that.
Diodora
Yeah,
is
he
pretty
made us
cool.
start on that. Are you telling me that
Yeah, that
You were,
clipless pedals came out in 1985.
Dad, I'm coming for you?
Stop the presses. you were riding clips within the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Holy
we both did
And
the
down to
ST
shifters.
We both did the STP. That was our first big ride in going in from 7th to 8th grade.
In cages.
And we had cages on. We rode the same bike. We had
Cages.
cages.
We
We
call
had
them
down
clips. Toe
tube,
clips.
Yeah.
whatever. We had
Clip.
we had that, and we had
A
down
bottle
tube
cage,
shifters.
a toe clip.
Let's get, no, actually, that's
No,
another episode.
no, don't even
Another
start with
episode.
me. But apparently your father's a doomsday prepper.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He's just holding on to the old shit forever.
Yeah.
Jackson's
Or he's
first bike
trading-
might have been a hand-me-down of mine, but at least had clipless.
Or he's trading
It
the
was-
stereo
it was old
equipment,
clipless,
as we've
though.
discussed
What? Let me,
with
because
bike shops.
I met their father when they moved from the west side to over here. He did not have that stuff on his personal bike. So
No.
did he cover it? And you guys, or were you that stupid going, hey, Dad, what? Wait a minute.
What's
No,
your
he
bike?
was like,
got-
this is what you get. I'm telling you, we've already been over this. It was one of those things where he's trading like stereo equipment for like, some random bike.
yeah.
I have no clue where it
I'm
came
about
from.
to mute Sam just to do this. Hey, Paul, why's your bike so shiny? Jackson, you got good shit, although it was old shit.
It wasn't really that old.
Well, remember the look shoes that were like
Those was
Laurent Bouchard shoes.
yeah.
But did you raise him right if you didn't put him through everything? Like for instance, for us in relevance, right? Like if you were to have a kid, you would start them on the NES system, right? Like the original Nintendo, Duck Hunt and all that.
No,
That
And
went
then
over
you
my
work
head.
forward.
no, because there's no reason to start
Alright.
with something that's dumb
This is the flawed family.
if it's been worked on already.
Yeah.
You know.
See, Rob, Mr. Waples.
He's a great man.
Did
The father of them all.
Okay.
Raised us right with teaching us all the old school stuff.
Well,
I was just lied to, and I thought
I
that was
taught
actually
Jackson with the
current.
old school stuff, but I taught him with clip-in pedals, like old school clip-in looks that were heavy. I didn't like make him duct
This is
tape
it-
his
this is
fucking feet
interesting.
to the pedals.
You guys need to watch Calvin Jones.
Yeah.
Just did a Park Tool video about friction shifting and old stuff and how you should introduce every mechanic to that basic, like Nouveau record friction shifting stuff, and how you can relate that to even today's. You got to
Yeah.
have that foundation. So
Yeah.
maybe.
So what's some tech that was absolute
You don't like
bullshit?
that, do you?
No, I do.
Yeah, okay.
What's some tech that I just have to keep the show moving?
Yeah,
'cause we're
that's
an hour
right.
three. What's some tech that's absolute bullshit that you are glad is gone from the last 24 years? Paul,
Make him.
hey, but it's not gone. Rim brakes are gonna be gone.
I would say it didn't
Disc
make
brakes
sense
are
with
bullshit.
Shimano when they had their STIs, their brake shift
The
lever.
side pole?
No,
where
they
it
had
could-
the cables coming out of the side of
Oh.
that.
Oh,
That
yeah.
could have been
Into the middle. No, they
Campy
went
came
into the
out-
middle. Yeah.
So Campy and Saran came in with hidden cables.
Yeah.
And Shimano rode that horse for I don't know how long.
I have upset of those stuff.
But
They were just
Those
stupid they
things
didn't have-
are still on the road today.
with the same shift cable they were sold with.
Cable because they don't have that gnarly bend around them.
Exactly.
So I'm just saying maybe Shimano had it right.
Yeah.
And then they
Well,
Yeah,
you
except
might want to
their
ask the
cranks.
cranksets.
Except their
yeah, right.
I got to figure out what the fuck to do with those.
2.5 or 2.8
I gotta figure out-
million recalls.
Yeah.
I got to figure out what to do with those.
Do you have the Holochuck ones?
I don't know.
Yes,
I
you-
do.
you
I
do.
have both of mine are
do.
under
do.
warranty.
I can't believe how lucky that I got when I got my bike. They're a rotor crank and like
Yeah.
You're safe.
yeah,
You do
so
have
it
the
was
good
all
shit.
fine.
I bet I do have the bad cranks.
You probably do.
If it's
It's
newer
that
than
era,
2012,
and it's Ultegra.
But
So
I've
it's
been riding that bike for like 5 years.
well, it's only
you
a
think
problem.
it's suddenly going to
there's
go like, oops.
wear signs around the
Oh, okay.
bonding.
Again,
You
it's
can
one of these things where the conditions have to be right. If you
Yeah.
ride in the desert, you'll probably never go. It's water, salt, that type of
There
thing.
we
So
Okay, so the evolution of the sport has come and gone in 24 years. We can honestly say that, gravel has become one of the big things in the last 24 years. Do we agree that gravel is new, or do we agree that gravel is just, and let me finish, is just fired up? I honestly watch some of the YouTube videos of people riding gravel races, and I'm going, that's an old school mountain bike cross country course.
I am fired up right now because I currently want a
Take it
new,
away. You have an opinion. Let's hear it.
Yeah, finally,
I haven't
right?
heard your voice in the last
Jackson,
like 40 minutes.
Jackson, by the way, was the one who sighed. Oh my god!
I'm gonna let David go, and I'll let this stew.
Here's my beat.
mad at me?
No, I'm not mad at you.
I am looking for a new cross bike. And you look for cross bikes, and the only thing that comes up is gravel bikes. It's nothing new. It's just a cross bike with a little bit more clearance, a little bit more raked out because it's more comfortable. But all those guys racing gravel are on cross bikes essentially. And it's just a fad. And I want a cross bike. I want somebody to tell me it's a cross bike too. I don't want to have to look and be like, is this a cross bike? It says gravel everywhere. And I can't tell the difference because they've labeled it something, and then you go and look at geometries and you're like, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So anyways, I am
It's a
upset
marketing
by
thing.
gravel.
It's literally just bottom bracket is
It's
really the
more
overall.
comfortable cross
I'm
bikes.
gonna adjust my mic so
Take it away,
Jackson
Jackson.
can vent his thoughts.
I think to call it the 90s mountain bike or mountain biking is, I think, not. I'll just be honest. I think it's kind of not smart to, like. I think it's dumb because I think that.
My God, step out, let it go.
I think. Well, I am
Just inching to the
kind.
doorway.
Call your dad a fucking idiot if you want, but just tell me what you
The
think.
reason why I don't think it's the smartest thing to call it that is because because it's raced differently. It's raced more like a road race than a 90s mountain bike race for sure. This is. So I think the tactics are different in terms of the terrain that they are covering. I know for sure that it's longer.
Yep.
And I think that now it's an entirely different sport. I mean, tell me right now that Keegan Swenson versus John Tomac.
Oh, don't you dare!
He would
You shut your mouth.
He'd take. I'm sorry, but Keegan Swenson would take him
Go
to
to
the
your
back.
room.
I think that John
to your room.
Tomac is an absolute legend, but I think that Keegan Swenson is going to show up to any race that John Tomac in his prime shows up to.
You know he's going
and
to.
take him to the back and go. Psh, psh, psh. Because this is there's now actual like training science that's way different. Nutrition is way different. They are different animals now. Speeds are higher, things are
it's true.
faster. I know that he is a legend, and I'm not discounting at all what he did.
Of his time, he was incredible, but
Yes.
this is a totally different ballgame.
It's
Yes.
road meets 90s mountain biking.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
a different sport. It is.
Paul doesn't give a shit.
no, I
Also-
do. I do have an opinion on it.
Can we?
But
It's a completely different sport. with
I
completely
think it
different
is
science.
completely. I think the similarities are that it is new, and a lot of people are gravitating towards that, and you will start seeing people start going away.
Last
the
fucking
things
episode.
that made the things that made mountain biking really big was what makes gravel. It's like, man, people just went up there and we had beers afterward. I mean, everything you hear about what's cool about gravel is exactly when mountain bike hit its peak.
Right.
That's a similarity. The other one was the thing is that they're starting to get, like, when you think of gravel, for me, it's like Unbound and Steamboat and all those. Yes, the distance is long, and they tried to create there for a while these shorter ones that had single track and you have to dismount, and those are more that cross country. That's the way it was, but it was on the circuit. It wasn't one long thing.
Yeah, it's not.
But you spent some of those cross countries were like 3 hours.
They're 40, 50 miles.
Well, and cross-country mountain biking has changed for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what we're talking
and
about.
then now that was what I was saying about the original cross-country mountain biking was so close to gravel. When you look at the terrain, when you look at the style, you're looking at single track and double track roads. That's not gravel anymore.
And to back that up, Tomac rode with drop bars on the
He did.
mountain bike.
Yeah, he was the OG gravel
and he had
guy.
a disc wheel.
Yeah.
I know. No, I'm not. I'm not coming to this party with no info here.
Yeah.
Well,
but you
stay-
are
you
right.
stay in your
But
lane.
you are
Yeah.
right about it. It's not a mere image by any means.
no, I'm not. I'm saying it's closer to. And by the way, yes, these 100-mile distances, I don't know if they're going to continue. I think you look at 100-mile distance gravel races, and you're looking at the marketability of where things are going. You're almost reaching towards what the tour stages are doing, where they're starting to shorten tour stages. Where I think over the last over history, I think we're going to start to see shorter races from the men, and I think that's something that should go. All right, I'll let you have that, Jackson. Riders that have come and gone over the last 24 years. Who are the riders that you loved that are now gone? For example, I'll just say it so David doesn't have to. Peter Sagan. Let's be honest.
What the
He's
hell?
done.
Hell, that was
He's
his
not
one
done yet.
contribution.
He is.
He's getting a mountain bike tomorrow.
Done yet.
Yeah.
I think it's also being
That's
forgotten.
the closest and loudest you've ever been to your mic since you've been sitting at the bar.
I think it's also been forgotten that Sagan was tattooed on my heart for years.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn! You are
still is.
You were the biggest Sagan fan
Yeah,
from day one.
I think that he created, and I think we've all talked about this. He has created a new breed of rider,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
more
like the Wout van Aert or the
charismatic.
Mathieu
So?
van der Poels. I think that he was the first one to do it like that.
He
Wow.
made me feel like I didn't need to shave my legs.
He was cool.
he did that for like 2 months, and then he shaved them
And then I latched on.
No,
But he-
your wife told you not to shave.
He made cycling cool. I feel
so
like
gross.
That's
He-
what I'm saying
it was
is
yeah.
he was charismatic. Like
Yeah.
he was the first
Yeah.
person that had a character.
Yeah, for a while it was like, oh yay, more
Well,
the same person
now,
going
I
off
agree.
the front. It's now he made him,
He wasn't the first. Let's be honest. He wasn't the first. But
but I think he was
who was? I could go
If you
back
go
through
with like
history.
Bernardino, he was
Yeah.
not charismatic. He was just a villain.
Go die in a hole, you shit.
But
Bernardi knows charismatic.
I think there's a difference though between charisma and bravado.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
that
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, I think
the entertainer versus the arrogance.
yeah, and I think
Okay,
that
yeah,
arrogance is not inspiring. I think that entertainment is what we are inspired by. I mean, last night I was watching the Bengals and Rams game, and I watched that the Bengals they got an interception and they all went to the end zone and they danced together.
Who are you?
Somebody who plays fantasy football is who I am. But and to me that's entertainment. You see people on like in real life having a good time and you feel inspired by that. I think that Sagan was one of the first to do that. Who else has done wheelies
Across the
That was
finish
during
line.
a time trial?
Yeah, he
like
was the original.
he's
on that.
he's a crazy writer, I think.
Now, we also, in these last 24 years, went through the whole USPS thing. We went through the marginal gains with Sky / Ineos. We went through the Wiggins Froome. We went through classics riders like Philippe Gilbert,
Tom Boonen.
Tom Bonin. Yeah. Who do we see, miss, are glad they're gone? What's Tommy Vogler? Jesus. The Miley Cyrus of cycling. Yeah. Yeah. With his tongue out everywhere. Yeah. Oh my God, where have we been?
Anytime somebody says Vogler's name, I think about when he gets upset with his team in the tour and he's still in the yellow jersey and he has a full water bottle and he throws it down while he's riding. Boom, and it just explodes.
Oh my God.
He got-
Mine is him like
So French.
Phil Liggett and like announcing him climbing up.
Little Tommy Vogler.
Yeah. Trying to hold on to the yellow jersey.
Continue, Tommy.
Yeah. And so that's what I always think of.
Yeah.
And then tongue out.
It's like, I got
no clue.
I know. When are we going to get to
all right. What nationality is he?
I don't freaking know, man. I barely know. French.
French.
Sounds dramatic. Must be French.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the end of this segment, I got to ask you about the fads. David mentioned it earlier, the fads of the last 24 years. The things that have come and gone, or, for example, is podcasting here to stay? The video element of podcasting, is that a thing? Why do people want to watch five guys sitting at a bar talking about bikes?
Especially these mugs.
Amen. Faces for radio.
Yeah.
And actually, I'd like to ask, personal questions. The live shows we used to do within the years, or should those come back and things like that? But what cycling fads have come that you liked or disliked? For example, is Zwift a fad? Is Zwift going to?
I don't think it's a fad. I think that
Peloton sure was.
Yeah, certainly, because that program is, I don't know, it's destined to fail because it was too hyped up.
Yeah.
I think Zwift has its spot, but I think they really launched at a good time during COVID. It really kind of accelerated it all.
They were before COVID. I was an original guy with them. But
I did it before COVID also.
It came to big time fruition
exactly.
in the COVID
But
years.
subscriptions have been dying off on Zwift. I think it serves a purpose, and this is a fad I think is dying, where teams were looking just at power output as opposed to somebody could ride in the Peloton. GCN has done the Zwift like academy type thing.
Yeah.
And if you look at just kind of like, was it American Idol?
Yeah.
Only a few really make it.
Yeah.
They keep going on, and most of them die. You don't even know what happens after a year to these people. They just can't cut the mustard. So,
a fad, Geraint Thomas, and I love him. But I'm saying those sunglasses, he brought those in, and he's taking them out.
That's what I was going to say. Was actually the jawbone.
Yeah.
No, he did the jawbone, like the big
Oakleys.
round.
Yeah.
Oakleys.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Geraint Thomas as a
in.
human being, and I was going to dive across this bar and stab you in the throat.
He's probably one of my favorite riders of all time.
Yeah.
I think that his fame is also just starting. I think that
so?
he has.
I see what you're
think
saying.
that he, once he retires, his media presence will not go away.
Really?
I think that he will become one. I think he will maybe be like a Phil Liggett type of name.
agree.
Yeah. He is. Here's the word again.
He's charismatic.
Charismatic.
Yeah,
He's charismatic.
yeah.
He's funny. He's
together.
relatable. He's not one of those cyclists where you're like, wow, you're a prick.
He is like he was Scoogins, right? Is that the guy that crashed at the European World? Who's it? Squeens.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Thank you.
Tom Squins.
No, I screwed up Payson McKelvin's
But
name now.
they were
McLeavine, I
talking
wanna
on the
keep saying.
podcast about this big crash. He goes, "What are they talking about?" I'm like, the guy has no clue because he's just like he's so present in whatever he's doing. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You guys listen to their
he's gonna get better.
podcast, Luke Rowe, and
I hear clips. That's why I think
Watts
he's gonna. That's why I think he will continue on after.
I think
You need to
those
have him
two
on the
are
podcast.
good with each other.
All I
They
know
are
is, I'm
really good.
tired of these athletes creating media accounts
then being more
and
popular
taking
than
over from us professional broadcasting journalists. Let's talk about the next 24. Where should this show go? What should we do? Where's the future of the sport? Where's the future of this show? Where, for example, I said shorter stages in the Grand Tours. I think that's going to be a thing in the future. I think that is going to happen in the next 24 years. I hope domestic cycling makes it through the bad drivers, through the litigious nature of this country, and low numbers of just specifically white men riding around in industrial parks. And it's the future in the dirt in this country. Will doping raise its ugly head again? So that's a broad question, but you guys can pick anything you want and jump from it, and then we gotta move on.
I would say if you want to make this show better, you'll get rid of him.
Pointed to his brother.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I will not leave as long as there's free beer.
Fair enough.
Try as you will.
As long as Pervy Pills is on tap.
Should we just call him Norm? Paul,
Yeah.
only get that reference.
It's a great addition.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think that the state of cycling in the U.S. I don't know. I think that especially traveling overseas recently and seeing what it is over there, there's hope that it can be changed in the U.S. And like everything else, it has to modify and adapt to the new world. But yeah, I think that I'm not pessimistic about it. I think it'll be there. It's like going to that Montana race this year. It was so fun.
That was nice to see. That was really good to see. Anybody else want to fill in something quick? Where should the show go? Somebody tell me. Yeah.
I think when you look at like YouTube, some of the YouTube guys have actually died down that have content, but the Lantern Rouge does really well, and there's just two guys behind mics.
Yeah.
And I think watching some of the stuff that we do, antics, I think it transforms a little bit better on YouTube than it does
really
on the audio. That's just my opinion. So
I think that depending on the state of popularity in forms of media, I think that we will just stick with what we know works right, but kind of advance into other areas as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we should have a public house.
I couldn't agree more. Let's crowdfund that bitch.
Yeah.
Packfiller Public House.
Yeah.
Arrivee.
Well, there we go. Thanks everybody for being. I'm not finished, but this is just. I do want to say on episode number 400. Thanks for everybody for being part in some way over the last 400 episodes. I do want to say it again. Thanks to Mark Hodgson for being there for part of the snark. Thanks to Michelle for letting me buy that computer. I bought that Gateway 2000 computer because I was a stay-at-home dad, and I needed something to do. And she let me do that before podcasting was a thing. Not to mention building an entire studio in her basement. Thanks to each of you guys for drinking with me and dropping my ass on the climbs. And thank you to you, the listener, for coming along for the ride. If you've been here with me for all 400 or even close to 400, drop me an email because I'd like to know. I'd like to know who the people who've been with me the whole time. So let's check in with Sam.
Can I say something? I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah.
Thank you, because this show, people have no idea. We come in not even loaded. The load is on you. I mean, you come up with everything. You have sheets. A lot of people have no idea what it takes to put on a show.
Oh yeah,
you don't put a mic. Because a lot of podcasts have died off because they threw a mic in front of somebody that didn't know what they're doing. And I think you've done a good job.
Thanks,
totally.
my friend.
Yeah.
Prepping and everything.
And if you don't mind, I add one more thing.
Uh-oh.
I think that this has been something that is really special. I think that ever since joining you guys, I've always been so excited to do it. The first time that I had a conversation with you guys, with you and Paul, was super great. And I think that without you, my own father, none of this would be possible.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the groomsmen of my wedding. Off of a technicality.
You would have been in. I love that so much. I love it so much.
So for the people that listen and enjoy this is a special thing, and we're happy to have you along. So thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
We can all
for
that.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's a compliment around here.
Yeah.
So, with our time left, we gotta check in with the segments here. Okay, let's check in with Sam and Ambassador Cycling for this week's Fit Tip. Get to ambassadorcycling.com today and get set up properly. So, Sam, I want you to help me out with bar width. It used to be that you went, Paul, you can agree with me. It's like, hey, your shoulders are so wide, you need wider bars. And for being open, for being able to breathe, for having that range, and now we see quite the opposite. Aerodynamic purposes, even to the point where people are turning in their brake levers to look like they've been in some sort of crash the entire time. So how do what should we be doing here? I mean, closing off our chest for aerodynamics or wide for comfort? Or is it don't even get me started on flared bars on gravel bikes. That shit is stupid.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a fan of those. But I would say that, that's a great question because traditionally saying from your Acronon process on both shoulders, you'd measure from side to side.
Yeah.
And that's going to give you your rough, bar width. So you're going to get something like 40, 42, 44, whatever, right? And then pick your poison.
46.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine were 46.
Bitch.
Mine were 46.
But anyway.
My mom hates me.
Yay! But I would say
glad he's out. Woo!
If you look at like Tade, for instance, like that guy's bars are so narrow. Like I swear he's on like 38s, right? Yeah. And like those pros, it's actually different because they develop breathing patterns that you can open up. Like we call it 360 diaphragmatic breathing. And so I'm gonna get really sciencey here. Depending upon like these pros, they actually use more of the posterior cavity, and so they're breathing more into their thoracic spine to allow for them to have narrower bars, right? So it's like because that you still have to be able to breathe, and if you go with a tiny bar and you're closing in your chest, you can't bring in that air. So unless you're going to go through the hassle of like training your breathing and all that, go with a wider bar width that's comfortable, right?
Shit.
Yeah. And so, like I'm a big fan of having, like, I ride 44s. Yeah, they're 42 on top and 44 on the bottom, but like...
That's flared.
Oh my God. It's
gravel.
A centimeter. God, you nerd.
Gravel.
All right.
Why don't you just put a pocket on the side of your shorts?
I do have those.
They actually look
You're
really... They look like a really cool
They're very
idea to have.
convenient.
Yeah, sometimes. I won't do it, but I agree. I'm
But-
going to wear white shorts on Saturday, though.
Yeah, you're going to be the loser.
White shorts with pockets.
But yeah, no, so where I would sum it up is like, and then you get with the hood orientation on there.
Yeah.
So like people rotate them in, and that is actually more...
You did that to me on a
it's more
fit because
ergonomic.
of my wrists were
exactly
messed up.
And because your shoulders are rotated in, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that like that is just more mechanically makes sense for you, right? Like you need to do more work off the bike to open your shoulders up.
Damn.
We can get into that later.
Oh shit!
But like I would say that it just a lot of that depends on your body type in particular, and then people rotate their hoods forward or back depending upon like if they want to get low on the bike. Paul.
Hi, Paul.
You know, or me, I'm up higher because I sit further back on my bike. So yeah, like it's such a specific thing that like that is a real spot I've looked at by a bike fitter.
Okay, there we go. Oh shit! Now it's time for Ask Dr. David. This week's question is in regards to, and I'm going to ask the panel first, ibuprofen use, which is really interesting. We all know that it helps with pain issues, but it also has some side effects, like possibly any drug. So first question is, raise your hand who takes it. Paul, you don't take it?
No, only when my wife says, "Would you take some ibuprofen?"
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
She would back me on that. It's like,
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like Michael Scott. She like mashes it up and puts it in your pudding.
Probably.
Because you're all fussy.
Probably does it.
Wraps it in,
I just
stuffs
read
it
it.
in a piece of cheese,
Yeah,
and he fights
exactly.
it the whole time like a dog.
It's her way to shut me up because I'm complaining about aches and pains. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Will you just take some ibuprofen?"
Okay. How often of the people who do take it?
I used to take it way too often.
Really?
Yeah, it was like I didn't really think anything of it, and I was just like, oh yeah, well, you know, my back hurts. I'm gonna take ibuprofen.
Yeah.
It's like
On an empty stomach.
You know,
I would
that's
just take it, too.
It's really, it's a good question. Like, because I mean, honestly, I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take ibuprofen. It's like post ride, take ibuprofen. You know, because I was like, it prevent muscle soreness, all that stuff, and get on to the next thing instead of doing the hard route of where you'd like stretch and everything else. I know.
Oh, damn stretching. Yeah. No,
It's easier to take a pill.
Yeah.
Jay, how often do you?
I
Not very
don't
often.
take it very often. I use like for my knee thing.
Yeah.
I use like a CBD cream.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that is really nice. It's like one of those instant acting ones. So you put it on, and within a couple of seconds, it makes the area feel better.
Better live
I
through
think
modern medicine.
I think it's a bad thing to do though.
What?
Like ibuprofen.
Oh, well, that's where we're going to
you're
get.
talking about
That's
the
where we're
cream.
going to get. And the question is, should we be, or are we just masking an issue that needs to be taken care of in the first place?
I can chime in on that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think any thing you take, a PO or overusage is not going to be good. But I know that because my wife's a nurse, I know some of the side effects and stuff. But that's why I asked on an empty stomach because she always makes me eat before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
And drink lots of fluid.
Yeah, but I know that some a gentleman that we ride on the morning ride who had finally got a hip replacement, but he was just munching this stuff and it did some damage. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
because that was the easy way to get rid of the.
Well,
the pain as well,
I
so.
think that there's studies out there that at least in my world, like
Sam,
people
this
who
is Ask Dr. David.
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Sam,
that I think that slows it down.
Sam, this is Ask Dr. David.
I think that it slows it down. I
Sam?
think that slows healing down.
Oh,
I just
that's-
muted Sam. I just muted Sam's.
I think the fact that it slows healing down.
Thank you.
I'm going to mute you too.
Helps
David,
even more.
David, please take control of this shit show.
You didn't.
Well, I just need to apologize to any fellow, if there was a fellow internist or nephrologist listening, because you guys give me like 2 seconds to talk about ibuprofen.
Yeah, like
in my world, you should have given me the whole podcast.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
No shit, really?
Yeah. Ibuprofen's over the counter, and like to a certain extent, I don't know that it should be. It is not a benign medication, especially as we get older.
I'm going full Joe Rogan
Now
here.
I'm just gonna admit, because
We should be drinking horse piss.
I'm human. I in college would take ibuprofen before races because I had heard it thins your blood and that would make you perform better in anti-inflammatories.
Wow.
Yep, that was a bad idea in hindsight. I mean, it didn't do
Now
it.
knowing,
Now knowing, so I'm not perfect, but ibuprofen, especially in my population of patients, older patients, very hard on the kidneys. It affects the blood flow to the kidneys. There have been studies. I looked into this specifically. Like I said, you guys are bringing up ibuprofen to somebody who, this is huge for us in internal medicine. So I was very excited to look at how it affects exercise. They've looked at, there's this really great study about ultramarathoners who they randomize them to get ibuprofen or no ibuprofen before their exercise. It is expected following exercise that you'd have an increase in your creatinine, which is a measure of muscle breakdown, but that's also how we measure kidney function. And so typically like an elevated creatinine means you have decreased kidney function. So they looked at this in ultramarathoners after it was a long race, like 100 miles or something. The folks that took ibuprofen, it was like 50% of them had a kidney injury.
Wow.
Versus a third of folks had a kidney injury that didn't take ibuprofen. So significantly elevated your risk of injuring your kidneys during exercise. That is compounded by the fact that during exercise, you're dehydrated, you're breaking down your muscles and releasing things that are hard for the kidney to process. And then you give it a medication that hurts the kidneys by affecting the blood flow. So it is not a good idea to take before exercise. Even if you're healthy, it is not a good idea.
I'm smart.
And after exercise, there's nothing to suggest that it would help you recover, get better, build more muscle, whatever. It might help you with your aches and pains. Personally, my opinion is you should just avoid it until you have to. Like there are times when it's okay, like if you're really suffering, to use some ibuprofen, but we
I'm super hungover.
No, that's
So would you say
sure,
that
but like
would you say that you should consider them more as like a muscle relaxer and like because those you wouldn't just take all the time.
Or
You
what about,
shouldn't.
or what about
You
acetaminophen?
Well, Tylenol's more benign than ibuprofen, at least in terms of what it does to your kidneys, what it does to your. Tylenol, acetaminophen, it doesn't really work. That's why we don't take it. Like we all take ibuprofen because it works.
Yeah,
It's good for fevers, though, isn't it?
Yes, that's what it does work for. Tylenol works well for fevers.
Fuck. So
did we just ask the best Dr. Dave?
if I
I
feel
mean,
like
it really did. You guys have no idea how often my conversations are like, "Oh, you're taking that much ibuprofen." you should really stop. That's not good.
So
Like,
I got terrible shoulders that Sam knows that I am neglecting.
yeah.
This day.
And I take glutamine chondroitin and chondroitin just because I think that's
You'd rather
gonna
take a
make it
pill
better.
than
I
do
would
your
love,
stretches.
No, I'm doing my
Yeah,
stretches.
fair enough.
I'm doing the work. I'm not a slacker. But I shouldn't even unless like I'm in major pain. I shouldn't take any of that shit.
You should really need it. You should not be like, oh, it's a little painful. You should be using other things.
CBD
And
cream.
So
That's what I
Jackson's
use.
bringing up
Buying
CBD
them,
cream.
right,
There
yeah.
are topical versions of ibuprofen called diclofenac or Voltaren. That's a better alternative than for aches and
Taxing
pains.
your-
You can put
your
it
innards,
exactly
Yeah,
where
but
you want.
CBD cream never technically won a Tour de France.
Did ibuprofen?
Floyd Landis did.
Did ibuprofen?
No, Floyd Landis did.
He owns the
Floyd's
CBD
of
company.
Yeah,
Floyd's.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. So,
Yeah.
anyways, my personal opinion, like advice to people is that you do not use it in any way for performance. First of all, as I falsely thought in the past. So it does thin your blood, and so there was this train of thought when I was in college that was obviously idiotic, that it thins your blood so you can move blood faster through your vessels and get more. This is what I should have said.
Does
I
it
was embarrassed
constrict?
about.
Does it constrict?
No, it affects the platelets, and so it doesn't actually thin the blood. It just makes your platelets not function as well. So it also makes you more likely to bleed, which is probably not good
Yeah.
when you hit the pavement.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's and then after the exercise, like stretch, do your physical therapy, like focus on all the things. Use ibuprofen as sparingly as possible, especially as you get older. We can tolerate a lot when you're young. Your kidneys can tolerate a lot, but it really is an overused drug in the U.S. and can cause a lot of kidney damage long term. So
This is something I do want to get into eventually, and this is not the time because we're way late into a show, but I do want to talk about the benefits of hemp and CBD and the medical benefits of it, and how potentially our culture restricted that for so many decades because we thought it was Nancy Reagan's gateway to a horrible drug. You know, oh, I had a joint, now I'm a heroin addict. You know, Jesus. So that was interesting, and we almost ended on a serious note. I tried to make it. I always
you
try to
can't
make,
talk about NSAIDs with an internist.
Oh my god, I have so
Without-
many more of these questions.
You do?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
keep them coming. You guys, that is it for this week. We had the Packfiller picks with Sam, but we never seem to run with time. So the top 3 picks from Sam are on the website. Do you even remember what they
No.
are? It's been 2 weeks. So yeah, one's I think a valve extender, which is okay. Should we hold off?
Okay.
Should we hold off? We should
All
hold
right,
off.
I'll hold off because that's the topic.
Should we just speed through it? I gotta pee though.
Wow.
I have
All right,
David
I'm gonna
tell
go
you
with the valve extender just to get started on that, because my point in that is that like everybody has different dish wheels, right? Like I have 60s, people have 40s, other people have 80s, yada yada. If you have one of those, that is gold, because you
Continental
can be
Connie
any
valve
tube.
extenders.
Yeah, So
You got
can
me at
carry-
Continental.
Yeah, right. I know, but you can carry any tube, right? And you can save anyone on the ride. You are a hero.
Oh, carry them with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying. Just you
interesting.
should have those inside of your saddlebag
$14
for backup.
14
Because
bucks.
then you can carry just your standard 48 millimeter valve.
You also have the Park TB2
Oh my God, I'm a genius.
emergency tire boot.
Okay, I'm a genius. So here's the other piece: is like who here has torn their tire and had to get home?
Never.
Never.
Guaranteed.
I've never torn my tire.
And I ride gravel and mountain bikes.
yeah.
Okay, well it happens.
Oh, you don't ride Continental. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh my God!
Go ahead.
Wow. I'm gonna point that out the next time. That
Could they
you,
please sponsor us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$6.42 for
But
this.
those are lifesavers.
security.
You put on the tire boot, it'll get you home. It'll even honestly get home a tubeless.
Pressure sensitive adhesive ensures the boot stays in place in any tire, road or mountain or high pressure.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. It just gets you home.
Okay, that's a good one. The last one is another Park internal cable routing.
Oh God,
Cool
this is pro.
toolkit.
Okay, this is
Yeah,
pro.
this is pretty
Because-
crazy.
This is
like
all on our
every-
website, by the way. The top 3, you have all of our references. This and the most recent are the top 3.
Every bike out there now is internal. practically. And these in particular have magnets, so you can sync them together and you can pull cables through. So this will hook onto any of the cables, it'll pull it through the frame, or you can thread it into an actual cable housing and it'll pull that through.
And you can use this again and again and again.
Again and again and again.
$73.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but I've had my same set for the last 7 years, and they're fine.
At $72, that's cheap.
Mm-hmm. That's a good buy.
Because the time you spend on all
save
that.
The
fishing through. It is a nightmare.
That was my job as an electrician.
Yes.
And there's times I'm like, how in the hell am I supposed to get that through there?
I've used those on
ridiculous.
like pulling wire through walls.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can see that.
I had a "that's what he said" joke.
Yeah.
You guys, that is it for this week. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube. Give us a rating on our podcast feed of choice. Whatever feed of choice you follow, give us a rating. That'd be really helpful. That little gesture helps us out a lot. I know they say I should do an ask for at the end of every show, and I'm really shitty at it, but help us out. You know, help us get higher up the rankings than we already are. But by the way, we're fine. We're not like, although
But we could always be better.
We could always be better.
Yes.
You guys, thanks for 400 episodes. Thanks for being here with me. And David's not swiveling, so
I'm doing good.
Okay, I'm the one swiveling this time.
Yeah.
We'll catch it. We'll catch